Hi guys, Joey here from Arch Echo, and today I'm here to show you the session for Final Pitch. This song was a big undertaking, probably the biggest production we've done to date, has a lot of new stuff in it, vocals from Anthony Vincent, Adrian gave us all of his awesome wind parts in this, and also a lot of parts from the guys, I think really stretching out and trying new things. This session for me served a lot as the production session where a lot of the parts were brought in and then made beefier using keys and samples and all kinds of stuff to make it as big as it could be. And also where the vocals were demoed by me, which we'll get into. But let's take a look. First up, we'll just go through the sections of the band. We have the drums here, which were recorded, I believe, in Omni Studios in Nashville. Always makes a great sound. We did our album 1 there. Really nice raw drum sound. Adam was really enjoying getting into having the snare ring really just be used on this album, as opposed to kind of taking out the sauce and the character of it. So I think it just made for a fun sound. Yeah, just like really fun drum sound there. Yeah, so next up I've got the effects and percussion. Let's see, first we've got a little bit of E-drums, just be occasional things like a sub kick. Barely hear that, but in the beginning, we've got a couple little snares here that help. It's just this one patch. Just adding a little bit of high end on that. Yeah. But the production here for percussion got pretty intense. I think a lot of loops ended up being used for this. So let's see what we've got in here. This is on that main riff. We've got some shaker, some more shaker, a couple claps, and this big clap here. Later we got some tambourine. Yeah, so when you put that with the drums, just a little bit more movement going on there. And now with the loops coming in, I think that was really fun on this song and bringing in a lot of fun movement. Got kind of like a hand drum vibe there. Another general 16th note-ish one. Here's another one, kind of shaker based. There's another one over here. But I think the important thing with this stuff is to not overdo it and to really level it in from 0 and only bring it in to the point where it helps and not overdo it, because otherwise stuff can really get buried. But to show you what it sounds like, here's your drums in a section that has a lot of loop stuff. Killer, awesome backbeat. And then here's with the effects and percussion. Yeah, now we're grooving. Yeah, now builds and hits, not really anything too surprising there. As a section will start, you'll have an impact. As things build, you'll have a riser. Here's a little section of the intro, just showing what a few of these are doing. I'm assuming towards the breakdown, there's a lot of stuff. Here's another section. Yeah, barely going to notice that stuff within the song. Bass drop, that kind of stuff. But yeah, here's the intro with, let's see, we'll do drums and all of the effects. The E kick starting. Yeah, so right away, a lot of movement brought in just by those little touches. All right, so moving on to the bass world, we have some fun stuff in here. Bass, main bass guitar by Joe. New bass playthrough is out. You can go check that out. It's pretty sick. awesome tone. So this song actually started out as a bass riff. That's where we brought it into existence first, as Joe came to my house. I think it was 2021. And we met and we made this riff first. This very fun poppy. Yeah, and that was it. And then Adam Bentley and Richie were in Nashville actually on the same day, and they were receiving this content from us, and then they were sending back content that they were demoing themselves. And within a couple days, we had actually made a full version of this song, but it did not end up being the final version because, I mean, this song has had more rewrites than I think any song we've ever done. Just because as we started to realize it wanted to have vocals or would be a good candidate for vocals, we just started changing it to really fit that role. And so a lot of stuff got changed and made a little bit more pop or a little bit less pop, just back and forth on a lot of stuff. A lot of conversation there. So next up, we have some synth bass. I send a lot of it to Adam Bentley. I'm never positive about quite how much of it is used, but it's to just provide some good sub content. It's never meant to drown out Joe's part, which is always going to be the main bass sound you hear, but it is in there in case it's needed and adds some depth to the whole recording. So this is what just the synth basses sound like. Yeah. Here's it with the bass and the drums. The effects. Yeah, so from a production standpoint, at this point, the song, without these little touches, synth bass and effects, would sound like a great riff. Great bones. And then this stuff just comes in to fill in some of that. And I bet you on the final mix, the synth basses are a little lower than that. Breakdown, you can also hear these synth basses doing some work. I guess we'll have to solo that stuff. I'm guessing these are a big mix of, let's see, we've got some Serum sounds. We've got, that's another Serum sound. Probably some Massive stuff too. More Serum. Let's see. Yeah, there's Massive in there. So let's get out of the bass world for a second, and we're going to get into some guitars. I don't have a lot of the guitars super stemmed out, but to be honest, there wasn't a ton of guitar layers on this song. When we have no vocals in our music, a lot of times you'll get way more guitar layers because there's suddenly a lot of leads and a lot of space to fill. But with this, we've got some rhythms, we've got some cleans. Could just go over some sections and show you what we have. We have our intro, very obvious, kind of like 1975 character. Funky. Here's well with the bass line. Funky there. Yeah, so a lot of funky stuff happening. Adam Bentley and Adam Rafowitz were sort of tag teaming, playing some stuff here and there. Rhythm guitars, of course, always a big sound in the chorus for this song. Yeah. Bass. That's your typical Archeco rhythm section right there. Okay, yep, main riff with guitars. Really nice, sort of funky, I guess you call it split coil sound. Yeah, and then in this middle section here, again, really low gain stuff. Clean guitar on top doing the chords. After that, we can get into keys, which there's a lot of stuff happening in here. I'm always very layer happy. You can see this is just the synths alone. A ton of patches involved. So your first riff in the song, I have a riff that is right here. I'll go from where it gets big. Yeah, so a ton of synths being employed to make that big sound. We've got this one here. That's a big sound. Here's another one. Big sound, different character. Getting into something more percussive. Very percussive there. More body. Basically no percussion at all. And then this is like all percussion. So again, all together, you get this big sound. Fortunately, unfortunately, that's the secret. It's almost, for me, never going to be just one sound that makes it work. I think the search is fun. I end up coming up with the same sound over and over, a little bit less, because as soon as you change one ingredient, you just have this whole new sound. Then in our first verse, there's a lot of clav action going on. Sounds like this. Nice, and I've got a synth enforcing the clavs. So let's see, what else do we have? We have a little bit of pads there leading up to the chorus, as well as some more action going on down here. Yeah, I'm just building up. And then main chorus has a couple synths that were used in the beginning, and then also a couple synths that are new. Basically trying to sound like a pop anthem. Looks like all of these are either from Massive, Massive X. I'm seeing one from the synth Anna 2. I think that comes with Slate. Percussion. 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 Just big house synth. House synth, more percussion. And then these guys up here. Yeah, so a lot of stuff. Oh, and don't forget the Giant. The Giant's always around. It's this piano library from Native Instruments that you can really warp the way it attacks and releases and make it sound super big, and it always is great under there. Yeah, so as soon as you add the keys, guitar, synth bass, I can show you with and without the keys in this chorus. It's a great sound, and then without the synths, it would just be a great rock band sound. Yeah, sounds dope. And then with the synths, it becomes more of like a pop song. Yeah, moving on to my favorite part of the song, which is this really fun chord progression that I came up with just to make the song a little bit more Art Checo, like a little bit more fusion, a little less pop, just for a second, while trying to make it super catchy. So that comes after the first chorus. The first time it happens, plays very quietly, and there's some, I think there's a guitar solo over it. But yeah, after that, we go through another verse chorus, and then the second time we do it, it's super big sounding. And I remember that this section was basically just improvised. Once the chords were written, I was just kind of sitting at the keyboard and going like da 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 da, and just messing around with what I wanted the rhythm to be. And it ended up sounding like this. you can see the chords here. They're pretty fun. Starts in the key of C, F major. That's the 4 chord, 2 chord, 1 over 3. And then this is a sort of moving out chord. Where are we going? Now we're in the key of B here. Now here, 4 chord in G, so we're in the key of G. And here we're in the key of A. And then back to the key of C. The moves that we do, if you were to analyze this, are pretty similar chord-wise, but it's just happening over and over in different keys. And we're choosing the key based on kind of like where that melody ends, given whatever key you're doing, wherever that melody ends. If there's a note that kind of works in that next key, that's what we're going to kind of shoot for. And it's something you kind of do by ear a little bit once you've done this stuff enough. With our Checo, we're doing this kind of key changing all the time. So you just kind of follow your gut a little bit more at this point. That's kind of it for a lot of the fun key stuff. I think there is a lead in the end. After the last chorus. Yeah, it's right here. And Richie made, he did this ridiculous fill at the end on tracking. I don't know who came up with it at what time. It just, by the time he was done drum tracking, this fill was here. It's pretty gnarly. So I was like, well, the lead definitely has to double that. So now I have the lead kind of matching the phrasing of that. So that was pretty fun. Last thing with keys we have here is the breakdown melody, which is a very, very simple key line that is going over the big metal section. A mixture of a couple massive patches, Serum, and it also looks like one Kontakt library, which is Una Corda. Anyone who's been working in keys in the last 5 years probably has tried this library out and been like, ooh, reverb, I'll use that. So this whole ending section with that sound in there gives it this nice icy minor vibe. Could be without it. Nice breakdown, and this adds a little bit more context to the harmony. So now we can get a little bit into our guest stuff, our guest work here. We had Adrian, he's played with the Mars Volta. He's a dope player, and Joe demoed out a couple horn lines for him to do, and he came back with not only horns, but also a little bit of flute in there. He took care of this fun chord progression that we did right here with these chords that I was talking about. I thought it was fun how he matched that stuff. And then in the choruses, really fun sound with the flute and the sax kind of doubling that theme. This is his part here, same as the top line of Anyone Else. It's really fun. The best part, again, this is my favorite part of the song, maybe the album, is this part where we get into this fun chord progression and he has this whole trio part over the top. I love this part. Yeah, that with some keys and stuff like that. This became this awesome wall of sound. And then in the beef folder, we have just a little bit of synth stuff that I purposefully made to go. I wanted all these patches to be masked by his parts, but at the same time help with the overall sound a little bit. And I think as a result, it makes his horns stick out even more. So that's what these patches are for. It's kind of like synth brass in a sense. But I really didn't want to use any like actual horn libraries. And then with his stuff, just a little bit of crispiness. That's a lot of fun there. He had an awesome sax solo here over this progression. Yeah, awesome stuff from Adrian there. And the strings, it looks like I have a folder here because I did one little string line in here, probably just a little legato line. Yeah, just to kind of show some movement in the chords. Yeah. All right. So into the vocals. Vocals were a scary thing to make for this. I was really worried about it being cheesy, especially with the song being so happy. So I just focused on making the lyrics as singable as possible. I didn't want it to be too wordy, too cerebral. These vocals turned out awesome for a couple of reasons. Anthony Vincent is an amazing singer. I work with him as a producer, so I know he's very versatile. He does all of these multi-style videos and he can mimic a million singers, but I knew that his voice on its own is a really good asset. And also we had Jonathan Young, who's an amazing vocalist in the YouTube space. And Anthony just so happened to be out at his house and they recorded the song when Anthony was at Jonathan's place. So Jonathan actually ended up engineering the vocals and also kind of being a voice in the room that I probably couldn't have been, which is just someone who understands singing really well. And the fact that Jonathan was there kind of hitting record and doing a little bit of help when needed to just be like, try it like this or try it like this. I'm sure it made Anthony's day better and it made me so confident that the final product was going to be great because Jonathan Young has never not released a final product that's great. So before that came to be, we had some demo vocals, which are rather embarrassing, but it was just me in this room with an SM58 just singing and my goodness, I was like popping blood vessels while doing it. But it started here.
Low pulse, just south of fine in the quicksand of 29.
I sound like Getty on helium.
Low pulse, just south of
See if I can get everything else turned on.
Low pulse, just south of fine in the quicksand of 29.
And then the chorus, really going hard there.
Faith bleeding out and out to down my soul.
So I can't show too much of this without cringing. So here's Anthony's stuff, really sounding killer in the verse.
Low pulse, just south of fine in the quicksand. 29, are we there yet? What's the merit? Careful what you wish for, my son.
Just such a powerful voice, great delivery, great attitude.
Faith fleeting, I dare not to tell my soul. Dig the ditch, make an easy story. Bad feet on another line. Hit the nail on my head in another record time. Are we scared yet? It's a fair bet. Good to know I shouldn't have won.
And then the screaming kind of section in the middle.
Oh, so long. Stand before the stars.
Yeah, and then we also got this ending note that he did, which was so good. Let me show you more of that. Ah, that's so sick. Now, backing vocals. Some of these are his backing vocals. A lot of it is. And then a little bit of it is some vocoder work that I did, where I basically take Anthony's voice from the lead and patch it into a vocoder. And then I can play kind of what I want for some harmony as well. So when you put that together, you get kind of this sound. You can hear where he comes in. Chorus sounds great like this. And then with everything.
Faith fleeting, I dare not to tell my soul. Take the ditch, make an easy story. Faith fleeting, I dare not to tell my soul. Take the ditch, make an easy story. From
yeah, so that is sort of final pitch from my perspective here. A lot of the stuff I worked on. And it was just this really fun project that I thought, if there was any session from this album to open up, I think it should be this one. So let me know if this kind of video interested you. And if you'd like to see any more of this stuff, happy to do it. Pretty easy to show this stuff. So thank you so much for checking in. If you made it to the end, good job. And I'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.